Hey everyone, what's up? 412 Sports Cards here today, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing a buy, sell, hold. We're back at it. Got one on the man of the hobby, Luka Doncic. So, I actually think I made a buy, sell, hold on Luka, but it was like 7 months ago. So, with how much the market's changed, I thought it might be a nice update to make. Someone whose market I've been dabbling in, peep that out of 199 certified. And I thought you guys sure wouldn't mind a buy, sell, hold on Luka. So what we're aiming to do in this video is a general buy, sell, hold discussion on him, as well as, just investment advice in general. And then we're going to get into some specific cards kind of that I have ideas about. But it's going to be a holistic approach, and we're going to work through a lot of details about the player, about the card market in general, that I think are going to be applicable even beyond Luka. So without further ado, let's get into it. Luka, the player. His stats in 2020, 2021, he had 27.7 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, and 8.6 assists a game. Those numbers are approximately about the same as the season before. His effective field goal percentage did go up to 55% from 53.1% the year before, and three-point percentage did go up to 35% on 8.3 attempts per game. 8.3 attempts per game is pretty decent. That's a pretty decent amount, which kind of makes the 35, look a little better because it's on so many attempts a game. I think that's something really important to see out of him, particularly since his game is, he drives so much. I would think that the three-pointers are big for him. They open the floor up for him a little bit and his teammates, and, lets him get some more assists too and uses playmaking. But I digress on that. His accomplishments last year, so he was a first-team All-NBA, which was big time. Took the Clippers to 7 games, still lost in the first round. I think they were up, 2-0, I think, and then they blew it, if I'm not mistaken. But they blew it, is probably a better way to put it. He averaged 35 points a game for the series, which is insane, especially when you consider that he was basically the whole team. And he had, that's why he got 35 points, but he had very little help. So I think that's still a respectable showing. Led Slovenia to a top 4 finish in men's basketball in the Olympics, and signed a $200 million contract extension. That's kind of big news. And he's the odds-on Vegas favorite to win MVP this year. So those are some of the good things that we've seen him do. What are some of the issues? Some of the issues probably are his temper. He referenced in the loss to France in the Olympics that, he let frustration get the better of him. He was not a good leader, and how he hopes that'll come with maturity, as he continues to mature. That's something I think I'd rather see sooner rather than later. This has been an issue in his career to this point. I know you can kind of overlook it when the performance has been so good, but, I feel like I've heard that a couple times from him about, I just got a hot head and I let it get the better of me. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to get better at this, and it still happens. I don't know, I think that's a small issue. Another issue, perhaps more concerning, even when you weigh the fact that the team, or that he got a big extension, which is nice, that I think that's good, is the team is not good, nor do they appear to be on the trajectory to get good soon. It's not like my Memphis Grizzlies, shout out Jaren Jackson, who are not good right now. Okay, the Mavs are like a 6th seed in the West every year, it feels like, with Luka. That's good. I guess I shouldn't be saying they're not good, but they are nowhere close to being great. The Grizzlies are not close to being great either, but there's so much young talent on the team that's promising that you think maybe, if you develop some of this, you have more than one, it's more than Ja. Now, granted, Luka's better than Ja, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of young talent. Mavs do not have a lot of young talent. There's a Porzingis, who's not the same player he used to be. And there's not really... Porzingis is the second star on that team. And in a league dominated by, super teams, it's hard for Luka to make much progress without someone to take some of the load off of him and take some of the defensive attention away from him. So, that's kind of the good, the bad. And now we're going to go into looking forward to this season. Although Vegas odds, have him as the MVP favorite, dare I say, this is kind of looking forward. Now we're starting to get into the card market talk a little bit. Hope you're enjoying that, by the way. Stay tuned for more as this video progresses. Even though he's the odds-on favorite to win the MVP, dare I say that there are not enormous expectations for team success. And while I think we want to see him get a win in the playoffs, I think winning in the playoffs a series is all that the people really want to see from Luka. It's not like Tatum, where he's surrounded by so much talent that the Celtics win one series and then they lose, and it's like, wow, that was a real disappointment of a year, with all that young talent, and like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then, previously like Kemba Walker and Gordon Hayward, you know what I mean, like in the past. It's not like that. I think the individual expectations are high. I don't know if you necessarily need an MVP to meet them. The individuals are a little easier, I think, for him to meet them. But the team expectations, I don't think from a card market perspective, card market participants expect a deep playoff run this year in order for prices to be justified. I think winning two playoff series would be above and beyond what this card market expects. That's at least the vibe I'm getting. I do consider myself relatively knowledgeable about this. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and I spend perhaps more time than I should on card Instagram. But yeah, we're going to get into the state of his card market here, but if you don't mind dropping a like, dropping a sub first, I really appreciate it. These types of videos take me a lot more time to prepare than some of the ones I've made recently. I think you guys generally like these, and I hope you enjoy it. But, drop a like, drop a sub if you want to see more like this. Comment down below any new videos you might want to see. But, anyways, we'll get into the state of his card market. His card market, and I'll show off some cards while we talk about the card market, it's been pretty soft since February. That's no exception to anyone. Almost everyone's card market's been soft since February in basketball. It's far from a perfect measuring stick, but his Prism Base 10, I might just call it Prism Base, was 1,300 in February. It's about 850 now. Perhaps more importantly than just that larger picture of, like this slow dip, is that it did show signs of life during the Olympics. I mean, despite a massive pop that's approaching 18,000 in the PSA 10. It's not the BGS 9.5 included, folks. That's just the PSA 10. His Prism Base pushed from about 700 to about 900 because of that Olympic run, the media attention he got. That is quite a feat to move that much on the Olympic news for a card with that high of pop. I found that to be pretty impressive. Despite the market cooling, there's still enough, performance still can move a card with an 18,000 pop. That is something that when you're weighing a buy, sell, hold decision is something that, you need to see to give anything but a sell. And I think we have that. And, it seems that proof that performance can move even those cards with huge pops in Luka's market in particular, which is probably, a little bit of an anomaly because he gets so much attention. That's worth noting. It's also worth noting that basketball is somewhat out of the spotlight right now, at least non-2020 basketball. So I think there's a chance for more attention in the future. So, overall, buy, sell, hold. We've looked at some of the factors. We've talked about the card market, said there's some life, but, it's mostly down. So let's weigh the performance, the expectations, those team and individual ones, state of the card market, his sport in general. Overall, I think Luka's in buy territory. Now, that might not come as a surprise to you. You might have figured that I would say that, considering, I literally just bought that, which was a decent card in one of my bigger pickups recently. I'll show off a different Luka right now, but, I think maybe another point that might speak to that is I didn't sell this Red L299 like I thought I would. I still have it. It's because I think there's room for, one, I really like it. And two, I think there's room to maybe move that closer to the season. And that gets into the point. Not only, I think Luka's at a fair valuation, his prices are sky high, but his prices have the ability to move upward because not only is he the darling of the sports card hobby, he's a media darling too of NBA IG accounts. They like the big ones, Bleacher Reports, ESPN, they love to post about him. I think that his stuff can move, especially if he excels. And, I don't, if he won an MVP, I don't think that's actually, even though he might be the odds-on favorite, I think that bumps card prices up because I think the card market's expectations aren't really an MVP this year. But I digress on that. I think there's a big factor that should be weighed here that's a preseason bump. This is the first time really since the bubble that we've had a break in basketball for any decent length of time. And we've seen what it's done. It's cooled prices, right? Now, granted, that happened in other sports too, prices cooled. But this type of thing is what allows you to, excitement wanes and then excitement builds up. And I think right now the excitement's all in the NFL, football season getting started. I think that excitement's going to come for the NBA as it's getting started. We've seen football, I think it's semi-comparable to football. We've seen Josh Allen get a bump on his stuff. High-end sales of Brady, Mahomes, massive sales. Now, Luka has gotten some similar sales on the high end. His stuff's gone up on the high end. And his base has started to find a floor and has found a floor. But I do wonder if after the basketball season, gets real close, after a big break from basketball for the first time in a long time, we don't see a boost to some of his stuff. So I promised you I'd talk about what cards. This is where it gets kind of tricky. The stuff I've been buying, like these certified numbered cards, this Elite Black Box from Chronicles out of 249. By the way, I love this card. I mean, this is just a $4 card. But, mostly these three. This is probably not what you want to be buying if you're looking to capitalize on the potential preseason bump and maybe attention being gained in the short term for Luka, which I think is where there's a decent play. And, you might be saying, well, why aren't you putting your money where your mouth is? I don't know. I've kind of bowed out of some of that, of throwing money around. Plus, I have a lot of my money tied up in stuff that I don't want to move. Cough, cough, my Hank Aaron, my Jackie Robinson, and my Sidney Crosby RPA. So it kind of limits my ability to do that. But I'm okay. I really enjoy these thinking through the plays, right? And sometimes I put my money, on the line and I go for it. But I do think that I have a decent ability to think through these plays. And while I'm not in that game of those more risky ones, I think I have a potential play for you. It kind of toes the line between where I'm at and the stuff like Base Prism. That would be Revolution, base or non-numbered rookie parallels. Revolution has a lot of hobby love, but isn't one, that high pop, and two, isn't that hyped. So you kind of meet in a middle ground, okay? It's getting way more attention than any of these three are. But the pop, they're base cards or non-numbered parallels, so they're much higher pop than these, but I think they have a lot more attention. And I think it's the type of thing that you limit that downside risk from high pop and still have the ability to climb as base cards get attention as we move into the season. I don't know if that made sense to you guys, but I think from a risk-adjusted return perspective, I find those Revolution cards to be very appealing. Full disclosure, I don't own one. I owned a PSA 9 once, traded it away to trade night. Highly regret that decision. It was a bad decision. I really like that card, and I probably am going to buy one back just because I want one, because they look awesome. But, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the buy, sell, hold. Got ideas for new ones? Drop them in the comments. Make sure to drop a like. These videos, like I said, do take a little more time, but I like to get good content out for you guys, and I'm happy to be back at it, doing one of these. And without further ado, I'll catch you all next time.